Remember, President Biden said he wanted to sign that into law by the anniversary of the death of George Floyd, the one-year anniversary. That was in May. It passed. Democrats and Republicans have been negotiating. Senators Cory Booker, as well as Senator Tim Scott, have been going back and forth, had lots of conversations, lots of negotiations going on between the two. Well, guess what? Nothing has happened. There's no bill. Senator Tim Scott said he is disappointed with Democrats for the lack of willingness to compromise. Listen to this.
Negotiations coming to an end?
I am disappointed about it. I've spent several months working on it, and frankly, the amount of misinformation is remarkable from the other side of the aisle. It is disappointing without much of a question.
Yeah, Senator Warren said this morning that talks aren't over on their end, but I know you said that they were the ones that walked away from the table here.
Yeah, I mean, the concern, of course, is that what they'll try to do is find some executive order and/or slide it into reconciliation in a very partisan fashion, and that's unfortunate and likely. They both, in their statements, made it very clear that they're looking for a way to do this from a partisan perspective, unwilling to negotiate on behalf of the communities that need the help the most. They're going to just find a way to shove it into something in a very partisan.
They're going to pursue executive order in a partisan fashion. You mean like the executive order that you agreed with? That same one, the one you agreed with under Trump? That's quite interesting. Earlier today, I talked with Congresswoman Karen Bass, who was involved in the negotiations on this. She has a different take than what Senator Tim Scott just said. Listen to our interview. All right, Congresswoman Karen Bass of California, glad to have you here. I hate that we don't have good news. We had you on before. There was a lot of hope that we were going to have the George Floyd Justice Act become reality. What happened?
Well, I think, Roland, it was a question of never being able to get to yes. The Senator Scott, really a lot of it hinged on him because he was going to deliver the 10 Republican votes. And Senator Booker, compromised. He went off and negotiated a deal with the Fraternal Order of Police because Senator Scott said, if you can show me you can get law enforcement support, I'll be open to it. And unfortunately, once it became public, the unions started going after each other, and that blew that up. And, I do have to qualify this by saying that the House of Representatives twice did our job. We passed the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act last year and this year. But I think Senator Booker just kind of threw in the towel yesterday because he felt that he could never get Senator Scott to say yes, even having compromised all the way down to the bone.
So, look, there are a lot of us, frankly, who said we had no faith there were going to be 10 Republicans. Now, you had Senator Tim Scott and Senator Graham telling others, oh, they could bring 20, 25 along. And so the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding. But, Roland, I didn't have tons of faith. But when McConnell anointed Scott to negotiate the deal and said, whatever deal you negotiate, we will make sure it gets across the finish line, that was tons of reason for us to have hope. I agree. No. Let me be clear. First of all, making the effort to negotiate to get a deal had to happen. Right.
But my point was, I felt no matter what y'all did, unless y'all just gave everything up, the Republicans were going to always just try to find some other excuse, and the thing is also, Senator Tim Scott hasn't come out, explained himself, explained any of this. And the bottom line is what you just said. If McConnell said, what you bring to us, we're going to put forth, nothing, it's like, again, lock it down, make it happen.
Right. But I will tell you how far it went. One, I told you that Senator Booker negotiated a deal with the police that they agreed to. If that didn't work, we said, well, what about the Trump executive order? President Trump put that forward. It's still in effect. When President Trump put it forward, we didn't like it because it was at the height of the protests last year. But frankly, given that momentum is gone and is actually reversed and in the opposite direction, putting Trump's executive order into law this year looks different than it did last year. But Senator Scott was not able to agree to that. Now, that was President Trump's executive order with all branches of law enforcement supporting it. And so if you can't even agree to what is already in existence, then at that point you have to say that this is over, which is what Senator Booker did.
So here's the dilemma that that Democrats are in. Democrats control the House. The House, as you said, passed it twice. The Senate did not pass it, but Democrats have it's a 50-50 tie in the United States Senate. Democrats have the White House. I'm already hearing from people who have said, no George Floyd Justice Act. We've seen what's happened with the Haitian and Texas border. No For the People Act. I'm hearing people say, I'm not going to be excited and interested in going out there and voting next year. This is going to have serious ramifications for Democrats to keep control of the House and the Senate in 2022. So, what are you telling the White House? What are you saying to, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer that, look, folks, understand, Black folks are not just going to sit here and look kindly on nothing actually getting passed.
You couldn't be more right. I mean, this is a devastating loss. The most important thing to me is the fact that an average day, 3 people die at the hands of police. So if you think about George Floyd's murder to now, you're talking over a year, there's probably been around 1,000 deaths involving officers. Now, I'm not saying all of them were like George Floyd. Some of them might have been appropriate in the sense that people might have been in the middle of a violent exchange. But without any transparency, without any accountability, with 18,000 police departments policing in 18,000 different ways, it's really something that we were not able to bring about this change or voting rights or any of the other initiatives. We have to spend the time and help people understand that the problem in the Senate, as you well know, is that having majority is not enough. You have to have supermajority. But I believe at some point you have to look at that and say, if we're in control of the rules, then maybe we need to change the rules.
What's next? Now we're hearing, President out of the White House, President Biden may take action utilizing executive orders.
We asked that. We called on the administration to use its power to the fullest. I will tell you that the administration, in particular, Susan Rice, the chair of the head of the Domestic Policy Council, Cedric Richmond, were helpful every single step of the way. They provided advice, they provided support, and frankly, they had wanted to move much, much sooner, and we asked them to wait. So now that we have officially declared the negotiations over, we are calling on the administration to use every ounce of their power to move the needle forward. We might not have been able to pass legislation, but the administration can act. The administration has already acted by issuing instructions to the Department of Justice, or the Department of Justice rather issued instructions around chokeholds, around no-knock. You know that the investigations are going on. All of the stuff that Trump shut down is now back in effect, and the administration is acting aggressively. I hate to put all of the emphasis there, but until we can pass meaningful legislation, we have to use the power that we have, and that's the power of the administration. Now, when it comes to people voting next year, we need to talk about that. And we need to say that what we were able to get done, or what the administration was able to get done, in the absence of our ability to act.
Well, it's unfortunate that we sit here. There was tremendous pressure. There were people out there in the streets, but this is also what I've also said is that the activism, that pressure, has to continue. And frankly, I think Senator Tim Scott owes America an explanation as to what happened.
Well, I would agree. I do think, though, that the lesson to be learned from this is that it's most important to push legislation at the height of the momentum. And if we had been able to pass the legislation in the Senate last year, when there were hundreds of thousands of people out in every single state and countries around the world, it would have been a lot better. Again, the House did our job twice. It was the Senate where things die.
And that is all too often on so many issues that folks care about. Unfortunately, the public only sees who's in charge and says, "Oh, you failed," as opposed to those nuances. And so, Congresswoman Karen Bass, I do want to just give you an opportunity just to share your thoughts on what's happening on the border. There's lots of pressure being turned up on President Biden. His Haitian envoy resigned, blasting the Americans' policy towards Haiti. Just your perspective on that.
Well, I mean, I think it was absolutely atrocious. I mean, I looked at those, the footage of the officers on horseback whipping the migrants, and I hope that an investigation is done quickly, that they are fired, prosecuted if need be. And I do think that our policy, if those people are seeking asylum, then we need to treat them accordingly. And so I worry about the mass deportation of people to a country that they haven't been in for years. Remember, those folks did not get to Mexico, did not get to the border in a boat from Haiti. They came from South America. Some of them had been in South America for quite a while. And then you're sending them back to Haiti where there's what?
Absolutely. Well, we continue the pressure. I've been asking for the administration every single day to have somebody come on my show to explain what's going on. I still need somebody to explain to me why in the hell we have a different policy for Haitians compared to Cubans, why we're accepting Afghan refugees, but we're turning our back on Haiti. And no one's in the administration seems to want to give an answer. And we're going to keep asking the question and trying to get somebody to answer that.
Okay.
Congresswoman Bass, I got that laugh there. I appreciate it, Congresswoman Bass. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, okay, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Oh, man, folks, it is certainly unfortunate that we're not going to see the George Floyd Justice Act passed. And yeah, Senator Tim Scott, you owe a much better explanation than what you said. Folks caught up with you in the hallway there to say Democrats did not accept compromise. Okay, detail that. Greg Carr, what do you make of Senator Tim Scott not being able to corral some votes? According to Congresswoman Karen Bass, Senator Cory Booker negotiated with the Fraternal Order Police. Democrats compromised on a whole lot of different areas. Scott couldn't deliver.
No, he couldn't. No, he couldn't. You know what's so funny, Roland? I love that interview, man. And I love how you picked up immediately on that laugh. I got that laugh. She know what it is. I want to congratulate Timothy Eugene Scott. Tim Scott doing Tim Scott things. I want to congratulate Tim Mission Accomplished Scott, who entered that quote unquote negotiation in bad faith with one objective: to stop anything, to stop everything. That's why that ghoul, that old feckless old unreconstructed ghoul from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, sent his servant, his good and faithful servant, into that conversation. I want to congratulate Senator Cory Booker, who finally reached the floor of his self-respect and said no. After I've given away everything, I want to congratulate the people who leaked the evisceration of the legislation by Senator Booker with the Fraternal Order Police after making a quote-unquote secret deal. I want to congratulate the people who leaked it so that then they could walk back from it, as those the Sheriff's Association and other groups met with Senator Tim Mission Accomplished Scott and young Lindsey, well, little Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. I want to congratulate everyone in the white nationalist contingent who sent Tim Scott into that room with one objective and one objective only: to defend the patter rollers. Don't let anything happen. And when you heard finally, which is why, again, when she laughed that laugh, this is a woman who managed the whole California legislature, who was on the short list to be vice president of the United States candidate because of her capacity to negotiate, among other things. When Congresswoman Bass said that they couldn't even get the thing Donald Trump agreed to passed, that's all you need to know. They couldn't even pass a resolution in the United States Senate to say George Floyd was murdered. And guess who would vote against that resolution? Tim Mission Accomplished Scott. Young, good job, Tim. You're doing Tim Scott things. Proud of you, young boy.
Faraji?
Yeah, I just can't believe we're still at this place. And I think this is the reason why so many of our people just have lost hope and faith in the government of the United States. I mean, when you look at what this bill encompasses, I mean, what this act actually says, and I'm just going to read a quick excerpt of it. It says the bill enhances existing enforcement mechanisms to remedy violations by law enforcement. Among other things, it does the following: lowers the criminal intent standard from willful to knowing or reckless to convict a law enforcement officer for misconduct in a federal prosecution, limits qualified immunity as a defense to liability in a private civil action against the law enforcement officer, and grants administrative subpoena power to the Department of Justice in pattern or practice investigation. It also establishes a framework to prevent and remedy racial profiling by law enforcement at the federal, state, and local level. It also limits the unnecessary use of force and restricts the use of no-knock warrants, chokeholds, and precariated holds. And it creates a national registry, the National Police Misconduct Registry, to compile data on complaints and records of police misconduct. I mean, when you look at this act is nothing more than providing some level of justice to the victims of police brutality in this country. And for this country, for this Congress to not get to make it happen, you talked about a doctor called Tim Scott and all of the other, cohorts in that group. The fact is, this is exactly why America's in the place that it's in, because it does not even want to recognize truth. It does not even want to recognize justice. It's so wrapped up in its own wicked pursuit of power and partisanship. It can't even come to terms on simple things. This country doesn't even have a national registry of police misconduct. What's wrong with that? They say, oh, it's qualified immunity. That's the problem. Police should not be civilly liable when they kill somebody. Why not? Why not? You can sue a doctor, can't you? If they kill you, can't you? I mean, this is absolutely insane. And for us to be in this place in 2021, after all of this unrest, people say, oh, it is the reckoning of America. No, it's not. It's not a reckoning. It's the same damn thing. Nothing.
Reese.
I can't.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's another example of how ineffective Senate Majority, how ineffective Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is. Where's the leadership of the Democratic Senate caucus? They consistently drop the ball. They have the majority. There's no kind of filibuster reform whatsoever. They completely got rid of the notion of the talking filibuster, of the being present filibuster, as opposed to being able to filibuster through email. And so what I see is continuing to wave the white flag, and it's not going to be enough to go to the Democratic voters, to go to the young voters, and even going to some Black voters in 2022 and say, well, the House passed the bill, but the Senate didn't, and Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. That's the political reality. But people don't like to traffic in political realities. They don't like to traffic in practicalities and Senate process. And so this is a very unfortunate development. It's also very typical of the Republicans to basically put it out there that there is no getting to yes. There's going to be the runaround. Same thing happened with Obamacare, where Obama gave away the farm. I shouldn't say that. Obama made a lot of compromises to attract Republican votes, and they still did not support it. And so Democrats, I don't know how much more they have to endure to figure out that you don't negotiate with terrorists, and what they're going to have to do to figure out that Chuck Schumer is going to have to step the hell up and get some damn votes. He was fine in uniting his caucus against Trump, but now it's time to actually govern and lead and legislate. You don't get to fall back on, well, we're just trying to, obstruct the Trump administration, and well, they got the votes and they're going to be able to, to pass whatever they want to pass. You have to actually pass some shit, Chuck Schumer. Nobody ever mentions Chuck Schumer. We can put some of the blame on Cory Booker because he negotiated. Where is Chuck Schumer?
That's right.
Even in anytime something doesn't pass in the Senate, they go back to Biden. They go back to VP Kamala Harris. Where is Chuck Schumer? You're tweeting at Biden, today is a good day to cancel student debt, and you ain't passing shit in the Senate. So I want to say to Chuck Schumer, step it the hell up. Get some results. If you got to twist them arms, if you got to do whatever the hell is that you got to do, you got to do it. You got to bring your caucus along. That's what a leader does. That's what Nancy Pelosi does, even when she has a large faction of different interested parties, whether it's the progressives who don't want to pass certain things. And every time a bill comes through the House, this group is threatening that they're not going to support it. And that group is. And she has a very narrow majority, but she still gets the shit done. So whatever it is that you have to do, Chuck Schumer, you've been a majority leader in waiting for a long time. Get it done. Because this not inaction, and you cannot fall back on excuses. And it's not just hurting the Senate, because the Senate they're actually in a better position to get the Senate back in 2022 than they have been for a while. It's going to bring down the entire Democratic Party if Chuck Schumer doesn't figure out a way to get some shit done with 50 votes plus vice president with the tiebreaker.
I think Reese has established get some shit done. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared. You dig?